Ready? You ready?
Ready.
We're ready. Welcome in. Canna Fest 2024, first one ever. Thank you all for coming out. You're all having a good time. I am Lloyd Courtney, your MCBD MC. Happy to be here, happy to host. I don't do this often, but it is always a good time. I have a glorious panel here with me. If you want to go around and introduce yourselves, tell them where you're from, what you do, and why you're here.
You can stop.
Hi, I'm Pamela Wilds. I am the VP of Marketing and Sales for Alera Holistic Healthcare. We're one of the two growers for the Louisiana Medical Marijuana Program.
Sweet. And I'm Delvin Bro, former professional athlete with the New Orleans Saints. I played in Canada. Now I'm a cannabis advocate. I'm a published author. And now I'm in the community trying to destigmatize this plant.
I am Monica Olano. I am behind Cali Sober Mom, where we are changing the conversation around motherhood, postpartum, cannabis, and alcohol use disorder. And I'm from Iowa originally, but I am way of New Orleans today.
And hi, y'all. I'm Sarah Harlan. I'm over sales at Indigo, so I represent Indigo today.
Thank y'all for all joining us. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. This thing wouldn't be going on without them. So we're going to do our best to educate you or try to educate you a little bit on what cannabis is and marijuana and CBD, all of the things. It's a very complicated plant. All of the things that the government didn't want you to know that you can do and what could possibly benefit you. And as I'm sure you're all enjoying today, it smells pretty good out here. So first question off, this is for the entire panel. I want anybody that wants to attack it, feel free to attack it. But as somebody that obviously is an advocate for cannabis, when did it become a part of your life?
For me, it's relatively new. I am right about 18 months, actually. So it was last April. I had went through a very traumatic delivery. I had 3 kids in 18 months, and the only way I knew how to cope with things was alcohol, and that combination does not go together well. So as I was getting away from alcohol, I started using cannabis, both medically, recreationally, in very small doses, and realizing the benefits that it has and how much alcohol was hurting me in contrast, but I had been taught the complete opposite, and I just wanted to help share that information. So I'm about 18 months in myself.
That was going to be one of the questions I had for you, because it feels like everybody does probably alcohol first. You're conditioned to do alcohol first. It feels like that's the safer way if you want to relax, what have you. Were you in that camp of, I'll probably will never do marijuana or CBD or any cannabis, like I'm strictly a drinker, and then it became an alternate form?
I wasn't a prohibitionist. I wasn't against it, and I had dabbled in it before, but I'd only known smoking it. Like, I had tried it in high school. I tried it again in college.
Rebel.
But it made me I know, right? It made me extremely paranoid. And still to this day, if I inhale it or smoke it in any form, I don't do well with it. Like, it just hits my system differently. But by having the beverages now and having the edibles in small doses, I am able to relax and finally get out of my head. And so I'd never been against it, but that's why I personally didn't use it and kind of stayed away from it. And now I'm like, wait, now I see why they were smoking it and why they enjoyed it so much. I just needed it in a different form.
If you fail, try and try again. Delvin, if you would go ahead and tackle the same thing, it's just a reminder, it's when did cannabis become a part of your lifestyle? Obviously with you in athletics, they did not jive. I would imagine certainly everybody knows the story about Tyrann Mathieu and LSU, and it was a bit of a problem or a misnomer that was kind of castigated out. So I want to get your perspective when it became a real part of your life.
Yeah, man. So cannabis became a part of my life in 2018, actually. It became legal out in Canada. I was playing football with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And it's a funny story here, man. My teammates, bro, that's how I really got into it. My teammates coming in the locker room.
Peer pressure.
Oh, yeah. My teammates coming in smelling good. You know, they're smelling like that marijuana, smelling like weed. I'm like, hey, guys. I said, we have practice today. Y'all know we got practice in 30 minutes. Y'all know that, right? They was like, bro, go understand cannabis first and then come talk to us. So we get to practice, and I'm expecting those guys to be tired. I'm expecting them to be lazy. I'm expecting them to be in their own head, like all out of space. But no, man, these guys were actually balling in practice, man. Some of them, I want to say Brandon Banks actually had one of his best practices ever after consuming. I said, you know what? It's a no-brainer. I got to try it. So I went home. They told me we played Calgary on that Friday. They was like, look, we're going to come to your condo after the game, and we're going to consume some cannabis. Came to my condo. I had some Obama runts. Mind you, that's my first time ever consuming cannabis. I thought it was bad. I was into the DARE program, right? We all grew up on DARE program. Oh, yeah, I see you back there. Yeah. I was brought up on that, and when I finally consumed it, I slept for like 9 hours straight. Man, I didn't break sleep or nothing, so that's how I knew it was natural sleep. And I woke up the next morning, I went to the facility, and I told my head coach, I'm like, Coach, I said, man, I'm ready to play another game. I feel so good, man. I've never consumed cannabis, but this making me feel good. I'm ready to go play another game. He was like, bro, chill out with all that, man. What you talking about? But I'm like, cannabis actually helps. I was on sleeping pills. They were giving me sleeping pills to help me sleep at night. And I found I would be popping up in the middle of the night, right? I'd be in my own head, foggy thoughts. And then when I started cannabis, all that was gone. All that was clear. So yeah, I became a big fan of it.
And with stories like that, obviously, there's been a big push for it to become legal. So, Sarah, like, how has all of this happened so rapidly with hemp, THC becoming legal? Certainly in Louisiana now, it feels like it's going state to state quite quickly.
Yeah, so I think a great way to kind of start with this is to help you guys better understand the difference between, or the similarities rather, between hemp and marijuana. Because that's kind of a big conversation, you know, and it kind of trails into that. So when you look at hemp and marijuana, all of it is the cannabis sativa plant. They look very similar, but they have different genetic aspects to them.
Can make rope with one.
Yeah. So the same way that you can go into a grocery store and you see things like kale, you see broccoli, cauliflower, they look on the outside like very different plants, but genetically they have a lot of the same similarities. And the same can be said for hemp and marijuana. So whenever the federal government was looking at these plants under the cannabis sativa realm, they noticed a difference, that hemp was producing high amounts of CBD, low amounts of THC, and the opposite for marijuana, high amounts of THC and low of the CBD. So back in 2018, they decided that as long as the hemp plant was producing less than 0.3% THC or delta-9 THC in particular, it was going to be considered hemp and thus declassified as a Schedule I drug. But nonetheless, hemp does still produce THC. So you see a lot more CBD products in the world and a lot in the market, but we are allowed to use this THC as long as we are pulling it from that hemp plant. So.
And with that question, obviously, Pam, you're very much in this, and I'd imagine it's an interesting conversation that you have to have all the time with your marketing and sales. So I have a question for you. Like, do you require a medical card to be able to have that product especially, or is it only for medical marijuana?
Yes, so that's a great question. And there's been a lot of confusion in the market because they do see it one and the same. Under our program, you do have to have a medical recommendation by a licensed Louisiana physician. So there's a number of doctors that have truly just dedicated their practice, or majority of their practice now, to just marijuana and educating patients on the benefits of it. For us, we are one of the two licensed marijuana grows. So we're not far from here. We're right out of Baker, Louisiana. We have an indoor grow. And there are now 20 dispensaries around the state of Louisiana that can actually dispense it. But again, you have to have a recommendation by a Louisiana physician. So if you have your recommendation, you can go to any of the 20 dispensaries around the state and consume. There's every product now available under this program, and we have come a long way because we literally started with tinctures and topicals in 2020, and today we have every product available on the market, from flower to tinctures, topicals. We have transdermal patches, we have edibles, we have tablets. So there's a number of products now under this program that you can purchase from any of the, whether it's 10 licenses for 20 dispensaries around the state.
And how much would you say, this is for everybody, because I do feel like there was like I said, there's always been this weird stigma around marijuana. You had to go meet somebody, like it felt like it was a drug deal, and it's like, this really isn't that big of a deal, but it feels like it is, and like you could get in real trouble. How has it impacted it becoming essentially legal, like the socioeconomic impact on Louisiana and the surrounding states, if anybody wants to tackle that?
Well, I mean, I can speak for us. We, being under the sales umbrella, I have seen it grown tremendously from 2020 to where we are in 2024, with not just the number of dispensaries and the products available, but the education that we're now here today. Just kind of dispelling all the stigmas has been, I guess, the biggest victory for us because patients are still thinking that this is a bad thing. When we go out in the community, and especially in more rural parts of the state, and we talk to patients about it, they're like, oh, that's a drug. I can't use drugs.
But give me that prescription.
Yeah. but then we talk about the different ways to consume because
Yeah.
you don't have to smoke and you still get the medicinal benefits of it through other ways. But as far as like the actual growth of the program, Jacob, could you correct me if I'm wrong? We're approximately like around 70,000-ish patients. That's our compliance guy. Yeah. We don't have the Q3 numbers out yet, but the program is growing tremendously, and we are seeing that in our month-to-month sales.